Based on the popular card game, battle the ever-encroaching evil. Form your fellowship.
For Rivendell!
The heroes of Middle-earth are yours to command. Embark on perilous quests. The far reaches of Middle-earth hold many dangers. Vanquish Sauron's forces. Push back the darkness.
For the Shire!
I will smite you if you touch him!
He cannot stand alone! Go back to the shadow.
The Lord of the Rings living card game.
So, my name is Luke. I'm the community manager here at Fantasy Flight Interactive, and this is our first title, Lord of the Rings living card game. Fantasy Flight Interactive is a brand new studio. We just came out about a year ago. This is our first title that we're launching, and we're an offshoot of the board game company Fantasy Flight Games. Fantasy Flight Games has been making tons of licensed board games since 1995. And one of the main brands that we have is the living card game. And the whole idea behind a living card game is that while it plays like a card game, it expands like a board game. So instead of relying on randomized packs, instead of having to continually grind to get the cards that I want, every time I buy a pack I know exactly what I'm getting, and I'm going to get the cards that I want. And so this whole system was developed in the late 90s when card games, collectible card games were very popular. And so when we came to digital and we decided to adapt things to digital, we realized that the market seemed very similar to what it was in the 90s, in that there was a ton of card games out there, but there wasn't really an option for players who wanted something solo, who wanted something that was more story-driven than competitive-driven. And so we hope to provide that with Lord of the Rings living card game. And so that's kind of our mission statement. Hopefully, we're coming out in early access within a week, so August 28th, 2018, players will be able to start playing. And what I'm really hoping they'll find is that they find a story-driven, unique narrative experience, something unlike every other card game that you might find on the market. There's plenty of solo modes out there, but there's really nothing that gives you that kind of experience where you get to live in the world of Middle-earth, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here. So maybe I can show you some gameplay. Yeah, so we've gone in deeply. Of course, there's the original card game, which is Lord of the Rings, the card game. What we've created here is a little bit different. It's a little bit. The mechanics are focused on being specifically built for digital from the ground up, which was very important to us. We wanted to do things that you couldn't do anywhere else, and we think the digital format kind of gives us an option to do that. So one of the big things is that when you are expanding the game, instead of focusing on just cards that are randomized, we wanted to focus on what you wanted to play. So there's a sphere system, there's sort of its own version of the mana system that you might see in other card games, but it's completely flexible based on what the player wants to do here. When I purchase individual cards, I simply click on the cards that I want, and I can spend my points to get them. Valor is the score that you use in order to earn more cards to unlock more features. And Valor, you only get this through gameplay, so there's no purchasing in terms of that. So all these cards are things that I can earn. They are more expensive based on rarity. I can have up to 2 copies of them, and once I have 2 copies, I'll never get any more. Right? I'll never get them random, I'll never get them in any other way, so I don't have to worry about that in terms of expansions. When I go into the shop itself, I can either purchase new quests by going into the campaign menu, clicking here and either spending the Valor points like that, or real world money if I so choose, or I can purchase packs. What the packs are is they are they're non-randomized, unique card packs. So they come with a single hero, and they come with a couple of cards that come in and are featured, are sort of related to that hero in some way. So we're very proud of this distribution model because we feel that it gives the consumers more flexibility. It gives players the ability to focus on what they want to do and how they want to play the game. And we're also excited because it means we have a lot of room to expand. So we're planning on being a full living game. We're going to go free to play once we go into full release, but until then we're going to be in early access for paid. we are really excited because the tabletop game exists. We have a ton of cards that we can already build on, a ton of features that are already out there. And so we plan on sort of utilizing that for when we expand. So every year we're going to be releasing new campaigns, new cards, new features, new heroes, rinse and repeat. We're going to keep on building on the game, and it's going to hopefully snowball and become something great that players can really latch on to in terms of their expansions. As for extra cards, if I want to unlock them, you see this is the main menu here. We have our different features that we can go into. I can also get cards through the Palantir. I earn Palantir views by playing the game. What Palantir views do is they allow me to unlock some kind of special bonus. I'll never pay for these, but they are some kind of extra that I can get. See here, we earned an extra card and we earned some Valor points as well. So that's sort of gameplay in a nutshell, and let me show you some of the stage as well. But more importantly, I'll show you a little bit of gameplay here. So the game is built around its heroes. Heroes are your main cards. Here we've got Bilbo here. They have their own power, they have their own attack value, willpower, which is what they use to quest, and then a defense stat as well. You can kind of see these are the different features of a card, so it's a lot of information, right? But it's boiled down pretty simply into just what the card is on the card itself. Cards can also take attachments. These are different things that go onto them, weapons, armor, special things Sauron can place on them. And each card has different powers that they can activate as well. So there's a ton of flexibility in gameplay and how to play. These are enemy cards as well. Sauron will play them out. They are kind of your challenge for the game, is defeating them. You can take a look at them. They also have their own attack, their own defense, and then of course their resources. Resources are up in the corner. That's how you spend cards in order to get things. So mainly what I'm going to be doing when I'm playing the game is I'm going to be either questing to complete objectives or defeating enemies by attacking. So we just drew our card here. We've got a weapon that we can equip onto our hero. So we simply click it. Tells us what kind of card we've got here. And we drag it out and we put it on our character here. And we're ready to go. Sauron gets an action every time we get an action, and then we get to act back. We defeat an enemy. Here our objective is just to defeat these two enemies, but sometimes we're going to have different things based on the quest. Sometimes you'll have to complete objectives, sometimes you'll have to do some special thing like fighting all the orcs that are in the area. It all changes based on the story, and that's really what we get because it's a narrative-based game rather than just a competitive card game. We can challenge players to try to approach problems in different ways. So that's kind of the game in a nutshell. Like I said, we come out in early access on August 28th. The game's going to be available through Founders Packs at that point. There's a special collector's edition that's tied in with the tabletop game. It's a very beautiful box. And yeah, we are excited to go full release after about 3 to 5 months after we finish early access. Yeah.
What about multiplayer? So you got some single-player campaigns. Is multiplayer also planned?
So there is a co-op feature that's going to go in during early access. If you can see up at the top here, there's sort of an area for another player's deck and their resources as well. So you'll be able to try these challenges two-player with each player controlling their own heroes. In terms of any kind of versus multiplayer, we haven't really decided what we're going to do for that in the future, but we've had talk of maybe a mode where players control Sauron, maybe a mode where you're racing other players to try to get to the end, different things like that, but we're really focused on making sure that the single player works and makes a lot of sense for what we're doing.
May I also ask a question? You got running it on the MacBook. Is it natively running on the MacBook or is it in Wine?
So I'm proud to say that we are in fact PC and Mac compatible. We are going to have a PC and a Mac version available at early access, and this is running currently on Mac. Yep.
Maybe also some Linux distributions planned, or Ubuntu or something like that?
We haven't announced any other platforms, but we haven't really looked at Linux as an option yet. So we're definitely focusing on PC and Mac to start on Steam. And this is all through Steam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.